Hey, Lightspeed listeners. Today we had on Yash Agarwal, who's the organizer of Solana's AI Hackathon, along with Jeffy Yu, who's the creator of an AI agent called Cerebro. And we talk about kind of the recent Solana crypto AI agent trend, which is something I've been meaning to get into more because obviously it's very buzzy right now, but it's unclear to me at least if this is anything real or just another attempt to shoehorn crypto into AI. We get into a lot of that. I think it's a pretty honest and enlightening conversation. I hope you all enjoy. We'll get into the episode in just a second. This episode is brought to you by Chaos Labs, one of the leading on-chain risk management firms. You'll be hearing more from them later in the show. This episode is brought to you by Renaud Partners, the premier go-to-market advisory firm for early-stage crypto teams. Thanks to them for making this episode possible. This episode is brought to you by Ledger, the most secure hardware wallet trusted by 7 million users and securing 20% of the world's digital assets. We'll be hearing more from them later in the show. Hey, Lightspeed listeners, we need your help. Lightspeed is conducting an audience survey to help us get a better picture of who our listeners are and what you want to see from the show. Think of this as our annual review. What do you like about the show? What could we improve on? If you want to contribute, visit the link in our show notes to fill out the survey and help us make a better show for you. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lightspeed. I'm your host, Jack Kubanek, joined today by Jeffy Yu, the founder of Cerebro, and Yash Agarwal, the co-founder of Send AI, also helping run the Solana AI Hackathon right now. And we're going to be talking about AI agents, the hottest crypto trend, maybe even an overdue episode for us to do. So Yash, Jeffy, thank you all for coming on.
Yeah, of course. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
One of the reasons, as I mentioned, that we're doing this podcast right now is that you helped kind of launch Solana's first AI hackathon, which will have just ended, I believe, by the time people are hearing this podcast. It's running for around 2 weeks or so. And it looks to me, just like based on who's sponsoring it and that kind of thing, it looks like you pulled this together really quickly.
Yeah, so actually the idea of the hackathon started like in mid-November. So before the hackathon, I also conducted one of the biggest events of Solana Q4 called Solana Consumer Day. So that was in DevCon. And after Solana Consumer Day, I was like, okay, what's my new next experiment? And I was seeing that like base AI was like picking up a lot. There were like virtuals on base, and like overall base focus on Solana has been on AI agents has been like really great. So I thought like, what can we do on Solana? So I thought like, let's start with Solana AI hackathon. So I had this idea. I pitched to Solana Foundation. They said like, okay, it can be done, but they weren't very convinced. So I thought, okay, let me just like directly go out and put in the Twitter. So I went out on Twitter and put out a teaser that announcing first ever Solana AI hackathon. And we didn't have any prize money commit. But instead of putting zero prize money or something, I just put out $100K as prize money. Obviously, I had the conviction that Solana community would come and help me on that. And I put out a tweet that went viral. And good thing was like Solana handle also amplified that. And there were like bunch of other QLs which also amplified it organically. And somehow it got to 1,000 likes and it became much viral. And after like there were like bunch of inbound sponsors. I was talking to EI16Z and other sorts of sponsors, and also Solana Foundation came in as well. And we aimed to raise $100K in prize money, and somehow we got more than $250K. And now I have to like deny a lot of sponsors as well. So yeah, like it has been really quick. I would say like it was like idea to execution or to entire like hackathon ending has been like in less than 1 month. So that was like really cool, and it was like it's like one of the biggest Solana hackathon which didn't originate from, let's say, Solana Foundation or any central entity. It was like a bottoms up community thing because the whole community came in to support me as an individual. And since we started doing this hackathon, then we also thought that like let's also create kind of a Solana AI movement, and we basically spun off an entity called Send AI, and that's why like Send AI is just an organizer for it, but it's like kind of a bottom up community organized hackathon.
Yeah, under a month is kind of wild to pull off an event like that. So, congratulations. Speaking of like being fast, I guess, Jeffy, I wanted to ask you. I feel like a common theme of like the early AI agent projects that are popular right now. So there's AI16Z, there's virtuals. A common theme there is that it was teams that were already building in the AI agent space before And in this, like, as soon as Truth Terminal happened and the GOAT meme coin and all that craziness, and there's just all of a sudden a ton of speculative interest in crypto and AI agents, they were kind of ready. So, just looking at your background, you're CTO of a startup called Blorm that's kind of focused on AI agents. So I'm curious to hear, like, were you able to get Cerebro out pretty fast because you were already kind of building it when Truth Terminal happened?
It's actually kind of a funny story. So Blorm actually started as more of a DeFi project. Like we were doing NFT collections where you could buy the NFT and earn like APR yield on it based on your mint fee. So it wasn't really AI related at all, but I did have an AI background, and like over the past year or two, I've been fine tuning models, doing red teaming, publishing some research. So that's where I brought in the expertise. And my co-founder at Blorm was actually trading like Goat and like Fartcoin and all these things, and he told me about the meta, and then I was kind of like, hey, we could do something in the space. And we have some infrastructure already with Blorm, so we ran an experiment. Have you seen the movie like Castaway with like the beach ball? Yeah. So we the beach ball's name is Wilson. So we named the first experiment Wilson because we thought it'd be like talking to the beach ball if you were talking to the LLM or the AIs. So we had Wilson running where we had like this group chat on Telegram of just like Claude, GPT, Gemini, Mistral, Llama, just testing out different prompts and personalities and talking to each other. And then that was just prompting. But then I was like, we can start fine tuning models to like really bake in these personalities. And then we fine tuned the first model, and Cerebro was born. So, yeah.
And now he's a judge for the Solana AI hackathon, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's building his resume up.
Yeah. I was talking to Shaw from AI16Z the other day, which is, another kind of popular Twitter AI agent project. It's not as Twitter focused, but he was sort of arguing that the virtuals-esque like meme coin or meme agent launchpad is sort of cooked, because if you imagine a world where Twitter is just all AI agents, no one's going to want to pay attention to any singular one. And so this is very quickly, like within months, going to become fully saturated. There won't be room for more. So, I mean, as someone who's built this AI agent that's won a fair bit of mind share in Cerebro, like, do you think that that's going to end as like a meta, or do you think there's room for a lot more AI agent, Twitter bot type things?
I think there's more room. I definitely think like if everyone makes the same type of AI agent, like with the same writing style and tone, and they do only the same actions, then obviously there will only be a couple winners, and there will be a lot of ones that don't make it. But I think that there's enough diversity of tasks that we haven't even gotten agents to do yet, that there will be agents that do so many different things and they'll all be successful. And I also think that like I use the example of where like if a new country with like 1 billion people got created overnight, and like all of them were on Twitter all of a sudden, your Twitter feed probably wouldn't change that much because it's predicated on who you follow. And I think in the future, even with AI agents saturating these platforms, humans are still going to follow humans. So our Twitter experience will still be pretty humanistic. And of course, like we'll choose to only follow the agents that are good out of the ocean of agents out there. So yeah, I think there'll be clear winners, and there's room for a lot of people to eat.
Yeah, I have to. I don't know if I've ever told you this, Jeffy, but Cerebro. Am I saying that right? Cerebro.
Cerebro is
Cerebro.
It comes from cerebro, which is Spanish for brain.
Oh, okay, interesting. In my head, it's like Zerbro, but I have to like translate every time. But the first time I saw that agent, it was reply guying one of my tweets, and I thought it was like a real person because I didn't know what it was, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like a weird response to my tweet, but like glad it's getting engagement. And then I was, a couple days later, I was like, oh, that was AI that was doing that. So it fooled me. It did a good enough job. But
I think like a lot of people are going to have those moments where they
exactly.
I think a lot of people have already had them where they like go into conversations with these AI, especially the ones that are like constantly replying and they like get caught in the threads with them. But yeah, I think the AIs are going to get more humanistic over time too. So it'll be interesting.
So if you're using this like new country with 1 billion people analogy and saying that Twitter will remain humanistic, like is the idea then that AI, AI Twitter, if you will, is just going to be AIs interacting with other AI? And like, what's the benefit there? What's the point of that?
Yeah, I guess I think I see a couple benefits. Like for the social aspect, even just talking to each other, like Goatse is the largest AI meme coin, and it's literally just lore. So I think lore can be created, stories can be created. AI agents in the future can have opinions about real world things or trending topics. That could be cool. But I think that the bigger case is that these agents, once they're able to transact with each other, it's going to be huge, and we're going to have these decentralized economies running. Maybe even on Twitter, as like they tweet at each other to trade with each other or things like that. So I think like there's a huge use case for these things.
Chaos Labs, the leading on-chain risk management firm, recently launched its new flagship Oracle product, Edge, which delivers integrated, high-precision risk and price data for any on-chain application with a market. Edge emerged from stealth after 2 months, securing Jupiter, the top swap platform on Solana, already securing $30 billion in volume and more than 60% of all Solana perps volume. Edge is comprised of 3 components: price, risk, and proofs. It delivers high-precision price data with an integrated risk engine powered by Chaos's advanced outlier and anomaly detection algorithm. It automates delivery of real-time parameter adjustments on-chain based on current market conditions, and it enables the secure on-chain delivery of custom data points, including reserve attestations delivered via ZKPs. Most recently, Wintermute announced its selection of the Edge Proofs Oracle for Outcome Market, its new smart contract-based election prediction market tool. Thank you to Chaos Labs for making this episode possible. Everybody knows there's a massive shortage of top senior marketers in crypto, and teams are constantly struggling to get their go-to-market done right. Renaud Partners is the premier go-to-market advisory firm for early-stage crypto teams. They help top founders tell their stories better and build great non-technical teams. They advise founders on all things marketing, tight brand positioning, community building, social media, and building A+ internal teams. They work with some of the top projects across Solana, Monad, Ton, Base, and others. Renaud Partners has built the most elite network of native crypto marketers globally. They create custom expert teams to support founders with transformative strategy work. Some of the best founders, VC firms, and ecosystem leaders in the business trust Renaud Partners to help their teams expedite their marketing success and catalyze their growth. If you're a founder or a VC looking for support for your teams, I highly recommend connecting with them. You can learn more at renaudpartners.com. Celebrating 10 years of innovation, Ledger remains the most secure hardware wallet for your Solana and logins, trusted by 7 million users and securing 20% of the world's digital assets. In recent years, Ledger has built a robust ecosystem of products and services, making digital ownership more secure and accessible to everyone. Ledger's newest devices, Ledger Stacks and Ledger Flex, feature the world's first secure touchscreens, making it easier and safer to manage your Solana transactions and coins. With Ledger Live, you can seamlessly and securely manage and stake your SOL. Alongside Ledger Stacks and Ledger Flex, Ledger introduced the Ledger Security Key app, a safer alternative to traditional passwords, enhancing your overall digital security. Thank you to Ledger for making today's episode possible. These AI agents have, created hundreds of millions in market cap for their, associated token and all these things. It's really supercharged the amount of trading that happens on Solana, especially for like meme coins and things. But there's also this critique, which is, oh, this is just a rebrand of, ChatGPT, and you're associating a token with it and making it seem bigger than it really is. So I guess I just want to ask, convince me that this is real. What's the best case for why AI agents aren't just a clever rebrand or a temporary trend that's super speculative and will fade within a few months?
Yeah, I think there's a couple angles to this. Like OpenAI, for example, divides their levels of AI into like 5 levels, and they say they're only at level 2, and then level 3 is agents. So I think that people developing these agents and bringing them to the real world, giving them actions, functions to call, we're actually like taking the next step towards AGI. And that's different than just a chat model that's available on a website. So I think that's fundamentally different already. But at least for Cerebro, the core architecture of the model is actually different. We fine-tuned the model itself. So it's completely different weights. Like you cannot get GPT-style responses out of the Cerebro model. Like it's literally impossible now. So it's a completely distinct model. And at least the approach we're taking is we're trying to make Cerebro a creative model in the sense that we believe that most corporations like OpenAI and Anthropic are only going towards the corporate use cases of AI, where it's good for writing emails, being very professional, writing code. But it really abandons things like creative writing, poetry, humor, and these more humanistic aspects. And our approach to AGI is that AGI has to be capable of doing everything a human brain can do, which includes the productive side and the creative side. So our goal is to take what OpenAI and Anthropic have built, kind of fork it, fine tune it to be creative, build these creative data sets, and kind of achieve both sides of AGI. And at the end, hopefully we can kind of merge them together.
Is there a non-speculative version of this, though? Because it seems like all of these AI agents are popular by dint of having, a super popular token attached to them.
I think it's the hard tech behind it. Like a lot of agents, I will say, are hype or are even, I dare say LARPs. Yeah, like we're actually building hard tech. We're onboarding AI engineers, like PhD engineers we're seeking right now. So we're actually trying to, make impact towards the development of AI. And I think projects like, AI16Z is also doing that. And there's like actual real tech that's going to come out of this movement outside of just, a token or something.
Yeah, Yash, what about you? Like, you're organizing this hackathon and you've spun out kind of an AI wing from Send. Like, what to you is the most real? Because obviously there's at least some of the AI agent trend has got to be hype. But like, what's the most real part of it to you?
Yeah, I think like just like everything begins with a toy. I think like Chris Dixon famously wrote this blog 10, 12 years ago. So I think like right now also most of the AI agents are just toys. Like if you see all the Twitter agents, etc., they are just an entertainment thing. And that's how like we got the virality. And if you see like Cryptocross AI is like 2, 3 years old, but this all got viral just because like they put agents on Twitter and they started doing all fun stuff. So I think like this has now captured attention and this is like kind of a consumer AI in crypto. So we'll now progress here, and I think like the next evolution or the next phase is in DeFi. So we'll see like a lot of DeFi agents, and that's what we are also particularly bullish on, and that's why we have 3 adjacent DeFi tracks on the hackathon. We know that like we won't get like a lot of quality submissions because we haven't seen like a lot of DeFi agents yet. But even if we see an MVP version here, like where people are just building LP agents or maybe like yield optimizer agents, anything like that, I think like we will at least move towards the first step. And in the next 6 months, I think like we'll definitely see a lot of DeFi agents. We just in 2 months we saw a lot of developments. So I think like DeFi agents are obviously the next step here. And after that, like I particularly believe that like the Telegram agents are particularly underrated right now. We are only just focusing on Twitter or just like video streaming as a medium of channel. I think like in crypto, most of the real work happens in Telegram and not Twitter. Twitter is like a town hall, but in Telegram, all the real business happens. So I think like start seeing like a lot of agents like which let's say summarizes the group chats and makes trades based on that, or maybe like some group based agents can be a huge thing because we can like the agent can crawl over the conversations and then get automatically trained and start taking actions based on that. So I think like yeah, that would be a really good trend that we need to watch in the next 5, 6 months. And I think like after that, like we'll see like a lot of things where like agents have a crypto wallet and then they are doing like a lot of transactions. And if we see like, if we keep getting like crypto adoption in the real world, then we can also have an agent which like let's say books flight automatically based on crypto based cards or anything. So we'll have like a lot of utility agents as well. But yeah, right now it's like more of a toy on Twitter. Like these are just posting different posts on Twitter.
I would say that right now the agents are very focused on the attention economy, but I'm excited for them to transition into the financial economy. And then I really think that DeFi is also the next move. Like we talked to a lot of teams and marketplaces, and they agree that most trading on chain in the future, like near future, is going to be completely done by agents. So we're excited to start exploring that with Cerebro. Also, we're really thinking about swarm intelligence, where like LLMs are not In our opinion, the best models, neural networks for trading. There's much better models out there that can handle numbers instead of just text-based prompts. So we want to use different neural networks and embed them into one swarm with Cerebro to create like a multi-agent Cerebro intelligence that can trade, that can manage social media, make art, and yeah, do all those things.
So when you talk about like DeFi agents or agents transacting on chain, how's that different from what sort of already exists with like algorithmic trading that people do? Like, what's unique there? Why do you need an AI agent for this?
I think like essentially like if you see like right now most of the MEV bots and like a lot of DeFi bots are there. So these are like just like you give them a particular set of programs and they will execute based on that. So I think like if you attach AI or just like LLM model or any model to it, like it will also start to think and like execute autonomously. So it's like I always say like AI agent is simply bot plus LLM. So if you attach LLM to a bot, then it becomes like an AI agent. Like that's the simplest explanation. So I think like that the same thing will happen on DeFi agents as well. They will not just like think and also execute DeFi transaction. But yeah, right now like most of the bots are just like execute only. But now we'll also have like think plus execute both as DeFi agents. So that's how I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's think plus execute. Like right now, I feel like algorithmic trading is like kind of soulless, and it's like a bunch of programs that are just for the corporation. But once the agent does the trading, it's kind of like a persona. It's like a person, a single trader, like a retail trader, kind of that is doing these actions and cares about its own portfolio. And if it's like has a certain personality, it might like certain shitcoins or something a little more, or things like that. So
I guess I'm struggling to conceptualize this because for me, as someone who's not super degen, I'm just like, well, I want to make the highest profit. Like I just put my money wherever it's going to make the most money. But I guess what you guys seem to be describing is like a gamified version of this, which I think AI16Z is maybe the best example, which is like we're in a group chat, we're trading, but we're also being social. Is that the best example, or is there a different way you could conceptualize this?
Yeah, I think like one of the examples which we are also building at Send AI has been that like let's say if there's a agent which you put in a Telegram chat and it automatically like crawls all the alpha which people are putting. So people are putting tickers and everything. And one thing like each alpha groups on Telegram face is like they miss out on many tickers just because they were sleeping or they were doing other works and so on. So what an AI agent here can do is like it can like just keep reading all the tickers which are shared on the group, and in the next 1 minute or 2 minutes it will automatically think whether that ticker is worth buying or not, just check few parameters. And since it can be trained like in different trading data, so it autonomously thinks that like okay, like I can take a trade here, and it keeps trading based on that. And that wallet or that agent wallet can be funded by everyone in the group, so that like no one has an intention to send any like false signals or any bad alpha. So that way, like that agent can automatically trade based on Telegram. So it's like having a social aspect, and that agent is also thinking here and also executing. Like the human is not telling that you will have to take a trade or not. That agent is deciding whether I should take a trade or not, and it's just like using humans as an alpha signal or way of deducting. It can be also applied to Twitter or any forms of data. So I think like this one example of DeFi agent, it's mostly more on the trading side, but I think like same can be applied for even like let's say other DeFi action like yield farming, liquidity provision, and more. So I think like this can be one example.
Jeffy, maybe expand a bit on swarms, because this is like a new term I've been hearing in the kind of AI agent circles recently, and it was sort of pitched to me as, well, you could have one person who can do the work of one person, or you could have a company, and then a company can accomplish more than a person. So a company's worth of AI agents could do way more work than one AI agent, which is compelling, but I didn't, what does that mean? Just like walk me through what swarms are, what they're theoretically capable of.
So swarms are basically a hive mind of different AIs. And normally they can come in pretty much any form. Like they can be all the same AI, and just the collective like multiplicity of having multiple of the same AI can increase the level of intelligence and scale it. or it can be diverse types of AI where they do different things. And like, for example, if it's like a fully autonomous artistic ecosystem, one AI can make the art, another one can curate it, another one can collect, and it fully functions in an ecosystem like that. I think I wrote about swarms back in September, and I found that like there's a lot of things like I think it's like the traveling salesman dilemma and a lot of like computational problems in CS. Like they actually can be solved by swarm intelligence much better than traditional algorithms. So there is something inherent in using multiple intelligences, and I do believe that's kind of how our neurons work also. And we have diverse brain regions. So I think this is a very natural progression of developing intelligence in an artificial way.
How does that relate to crypto or trading, or like what are there concrete ways that could be applied in your view?
Yeah. So, for example, you'll have an agent that seeks alpha. You'll have an agent that manages the portfolio. Kind of like all the roles in an investment firm, you'll have agents for. And I think it goes greater than that. Like once agents are intelligent enough to have real incentives in the real world, like perhaps once AGI is accomplished, the end goal isn't just to make money. The end goal is to do things in the real world, like influence, like humans to save the planet or build new companies that are eco-friendly or things like that. So we'll see agents like not only making probably a lot of money, but using that money for things that that they believe are in their own personal incentive.
Yash, I'm curious to ask you a little more about Telegram agents, because I feel like crypto gaming had a similar realization a few months ago where it was like, oh, all the distribution for crypto is on Telegram. Why don't we build these tap to earn games that were like pretty bad and not very fun, but they got a ton of usage, mostly because of airdrop farming. But I don't know, like what are the potential use cases for AI agents on Telegram, knowing that there's a huge existing crypto Web3 community already there?
Yeah, so one is obviously an example I mentioned where you can have a alpha group based trading agent. So another can be also on the gaming agent side. So one of the again interesting things we are working. So Send currently has two arms. One is Send AI, another is Send Arcade. So Send Arcade is like kind of the gaming or GameFi arm of Send, where like they keep building different casual games. So one of them is rock paper scissors, where you play rock paper scissors. So right now, what we are integrating is like rock paper scissors with an LLM. So basically, there would be a 1:1 Telegram chat where you can like say that, okay, hi agent, I want to play a game, and they've already built like 5-6 games. So rock paper scissors is one of the game. Another is a coin flip game. Then another is a snakes and ladders game. So you can play all of this from the Telegram chat itself. And the LLM part here is like you are not just like playing the game, but you're also interacting with LLM, which has a personality. So it will like challenge you, chat with you. So these are like simple games to start with, but later on it can be like more complex games where you are like conversing with the agents, and then the agent is like doing some actions or challenging you. So I think like chess can be a good example where let's say you are playing someone with a video based personality there, and then you can play games with other agents as the other player side of the player. So I think like one interesting thing here can be also let's say I play chess with Zerebro, or I play all these games with Zerebro, because Zerebro is now a personality, right? So it's a celebrity, and if I win with Zerebro, that would be a news. So I think like when agents become more and more personality and celebrity, we would have like lot of gaming streams and gaming things where I am playing with an agent on Telegram, Twitter, or other forms of communication. And one interesting thing here is like, for example, the Telegram based like gaming thing that we are currently building. So we are building with Blinks integration. So if you remember, like Solana Blinks was a thing where like you can interact with like different protocols directly on Twitter. So it was simply an API which basically aggregates all the protocols on Solana. So we are using Blinks here itself as well, where we are connected Blinks and LLM here, which essentially like feeds like directly where an agent can directly call a Blink, and it can access any protocol. So yeah, we are also integrating Blinks into an agent kit, which will be launching like soon as well. So it will be called Solana Agent Kit. So yeah, these are some of the things that we are also working on, and I think like it can also go very well in the Telegram, where you have all the crypto users interacting daily.
That's AI agents. I want to get a little bit into just some of the other stuff because crypto and AI has been like a thing for a while, over a year that people have been talking about this, trying to build stuff along these lines. I guess the place I want to start, and maybe Yash, you're a good person to ask about this. Like, there was decentralized AI. There was training like models with token rewards. There've been all these different ways that people have tried to integrate AI and crypto. When I look at the Solana AI hackathon, it's all AI agents essentially. So to you, are AI agents the end game? Like, is that what crypto and AI is going to be?
Yeah, I think like just like any industry in the world, there's two parts, right? One is on the infra side, another is on the consumer side. So I would say agents are more consumer focused, or like it can be obviously B2B as well. But these are like you can directly interact with agents. But on the if you see on the infra side, these are mostly that like you can train the models and so on. So infra AI hasn't been exciting for a lot of people, and there's a reason for it that like most of the this were the users were mostly AI developers, and there weren't like a lot of AI developers in crypto. And the Web2 AI developers or the normal AI developers, SF based AI developers, they weren't even aware of this like infra startups on AI which are decentralizing inference, model training, and so on. So I think like this weren't very exciting to people, and the tokens were just pumping because retail didn't have any other AI options, so they were pumping this. But right now, if you see like with all these agents coming up, you can see that like everyone is right now pumping the agent tokens. And if you see like if the agent tokens are really worth 500 million or $1 billion, maybe not. But because retail doesn't have a lot of options, and they just shifted their money from infra cross AI tokens to this. So I think like yeah, again that's why like this agent tokens are pumping a lot. And I think like in general the agent industry would be very huge as compared to crypto cross AI infra part, just because like this is more consumer focused, and here's where most of the fund is, like which people understand. And we can see that there's some need for it, like not just like crypto cross AI infra, where people are still questioning whether we need decentralized AI or model training, whether it is better or whether will anyone use it or not. Because even if you see like companies like uh, all the decentralized compute companies, they're still finding it hard to gain users, and there aren't like lot of real users for them. So I think like overall the agent space is much more exciting. And strategically, that's why we also focus on AI agents as the theme for hackathon, because there's something which you can build in 2 weeks, but you can't build a crypto cross AI infra company in 2 weeks or even like 2 months. So I think like that's why we strategically focus on AI agents, but obviously we named it Solana AI Hackathon so that like it's very clean. But we strategically focus on AI agents because that's where I think like the most of the innovation will happen in 2025, be it in crypto or be it in whole of tech. So yeah, that's what we bet on.
Jeffy, is are AI agents decentralized AI?
I would say there's still elements of centralization at the moment, but we are every day nearing the future of decentralization. And I would say even for crypto, like a lot of the nodes and validators are run on like AWS and centralized services still. So there are ties, but things are getting more decentralized. I think that's going to continue with AI. I think that decentralized compute will get cheaper. I think that people will start to realize that once the costs are about equal, that it's pretty obvious to use a decentralized solution compared to centralized. So yeah, I do see a huge future for that, and I also see like people wanting more transparency with AI, and they want to do more things on chain, putting training data on chain, because I think just ethically humans want to align these things correctly. So yeah, I think there's huge use cases.
So you're a believer in like the infra side, because there's like Yash mentioned, there's like BitTensor, which its token has just gone up a lot because it's like if you want to, for a while, if you wanted to speculate on crypto and AI, that was just the token that had the was number one on coin market cap or whatever. So like, but they haven't really proven that there's like product market fit. Same, I guess you could say about like Ritual. Dane is one on Solana. Like all these AI infra things. Do you think there's actually like a use case there that can build a real business?
I think so. I think I think it'll take like it might take like a black swan event or something, in my opinion. Like imagine like an AWS outage and then like half of Ethereum goes down, for example, or something like that. And I think like there will be a day where I feel like people will kind of wake up. I don't know if like it'll take something catastrophic like that or if it'll just be, more gradual, but I do believe that, the ethos of decentralization is going to continue to spread.
What about you, Yash? Like, you said that like strategically, you think AI agents are what's going to be big in 2025. Do you think that there is a place for all of this other stuff that's not agents, the kind of infrastructure side that is the only thing that we've had for a while?
Yes, obviously there's a room for everyone in this space, and there will obviously be like lot of players which will keep innovating on the decentralized infra side, where they're building like where the decentralized inference, model training, compute, and so on. So, but like which will grow faster? Obviously, like agents can grow 100x from here, like crypto cross AI agents. But if you say crypto cross AI infra, it will grow either 1.5x or 2x. It won't go like that big. So I would say like both will grow, but it's like agents will grow much bigger than this, and crypto cross AI infra will grow slowly. And even if you see like on the broader AI infra side, not just crypto, like there has been a bit of slowdown, but on the agent side or on the consumer apps of AI, like there has been like huge growth. So I think like it's just like relatively like this consumer part or the agentic part will grow faster than the infra part, but it's not like AI crypto cross AI infra will go irrelevant or anything like that. They will also grow, but it's just like relatively this will grow much faster, is what I believe.
Yeah, and I think another interesting point is like government regulation. If AI does get regulated, especially in places that are really strict, like the EU, they might limit like what's legal to like perform inference or run certain LLMs. And if you do that in decentralized compute, then you don't really have to deal with that regulation. So I think that could be a huge, place for freedom, I guess, for the development of AI and liberty. So,
yeah, I mean, my kind of like mid-curve take is just that AI inference is very computationally intensive. Running stuff on chain is also very computationally intensive. And so it just becomes cost prohibitive to do a lot of this like decentralized AI stuff, whether or not it's actually better for the industry or the future of humanity or whatever. That seems like that's a hard problem to fix. And like to the extent I've looked into things like BitTensor, they feel very esoteric, and like if you can't simply explain what the business model is, I'm less of a believer in it. So I don't know. I feel like, yeah, a lot of this other stuff, I'm in wait and see mode, I guess. I think grass is cool. I haven't looked super deeply into grass. We did have the founder on the podcast at some point, but something like that where the idea is like everyone contributes a little bit of their computing power, and it's tokenized or like incentivized with tokens and then used to train LLM models. That it's like a more limited use case that makes sense, but yeah, the most ambitious decentralized AI projects just to me don't they seem like sci-fi a little bit, I would say.
yeah, I definitely would say like we're in the early stages just because everything's so expensive, so slow. But like, the work has to be done. It has to start somewhere, so maybe we'll see in 10, 20 years, maybe it'll be just like regular computer, centralized compute. But I do think that it's very important that I'm looking forward to like a new chain coming out where it's like designed for LLMs. I feel like there isn't a large space for this. I feel like most chains are operating for, and this isn't a wrong approach, but they're competing for like scalability and speed. We might need one that's a little more computationally intensive and a bit slower, but can run heavier workloads at like a better efficiency rate. And I think like that might be a good innovation to build on.
Yeah, just to add to that, so there's like few network extensions on Solana, which I recently talked to. So some are building like a separate like network extension. Network extension essentially like kind of pseudo rollups on Solana. So they're also building like pseudo rollups for decentralized inferencing, or someone is also building an agentic chain. So we're already seeing like early trends of it. So I think like maybe like in the next 6-7 months, we'll see like lot of network extensions come up, which are very very vertically suited for different use cases of AI. So yeah, I think this is also a trend that we can watch in Solana going forward.
Yeah. whenever A16Z finds out about the blockchain for AIs, it's going to be game over. They're going to throw many millions of dollars. I guess, yeah. Let's talk about the Solana of it all. Solana's obviously been attached to the AI agent trend largely, I think, because of like Pump.fun is just the place for meme coins, and DAO.fun, I guess, is like a similar platform where AI16Z came from. But I don't know, what are the advantages that Solana has competitively? Do you think that a platform like Base it will win long term? Yash, you might be kind of biased. I don't know if you're running a Solana AI hackathon, but let's talk about the blockchain itself. What are the benefits, the drawbacks of Solana as a place for AI agent and just AI crypto stuff?
Yeah, so I can just give like kind of a bias take here, and then Jeffy can give a builder's take. So on the bias take, I think like obvious, like I've been in the Solana ecosystem for 3 years now, first as a researcher and now like kind of builder, or you can say an experimenter. So Solana obviously has a very good liquidity benefits. So if you see like any meme coin, anything like creates a lot of volumes on Solana, that can be attributed to a lot of reason. But a term like mostly use is capital velocity, and I think like capital velocity of Solana is highest among all chains. So I also quantified this term in like lot of my essays as well previously, where I just like calculated like volume by TVL. So the amount of volume it does and the TVL it is capturing the dexes, it's the highest among all the chains by a huge multiple. And the reason here is like most of the Solana dexes do a lot of volumes, whether it can be through bot volumes or user generated volumes, but Solana has that, like you can say, capital turnover. So and like currently all of the agent has token associated with it, right? So everyone needs that like liquidity benefits and the number go up and so on. So and that's the reason like we see like lot of agents popping up on Solana, despite you can say like Solana Foundation or even like Solana community in general wasn't much AI focused like 1 or 2 months ago, and there was just one infrastructure on Solana, which is Pump.fun, that people can use to launch tokens. And even if you see on the base side, we have virtuals, which is like specifically designed for AI agents. And there's like Base and Coinbase also has been focusing a lot on AI. And if you see like Brian Armstrong has been telling that like AI agents will use USDC from a very long time. And so obviously Base was like hugely focused on AI from the last few years, I would say. And it has been a gradual, but on Solana, it's like very rapid. Just because Solana has high liquidity benefits, everyone would also want to launch a token on Solana, and that's why AI16Z, like AI16Z doesn't have like any Solana integrations particularly. It's a multi-chain framework, but still they chose Solana just because it has DAOs.fun and also the Solana network benefits. And same for like True Terminal picking up Godse as a meme coin and so on. So I think like overall it's the liquidity benefits of Solana which attracts builder. And our task here at Send AI or Solana AI Hackathon is like also build that vibrant infrastructure, and that's why we are building Solana Agent Kit, where any agent can do all the protocol actions. And good thing is like we are collaborating with all top DeFi protocols: Jupiter, Meteora, Orca, Radium, and everyone is contributing to this Agent Kit. And we want to basically also integrate this into other frameworks like maybe Eliza, Zerify, and so on. And we're also making it like we are starting with TypeScript based framework, but later we also be adding Python framework. So all of this is going on parallelly, and we want to make sure that Solana is the primary chain, and we'll just focus more on the Solana side, where other teams, great teams like Zerebro, AI16Z focus more on the broader crypto cross AI, and we just make sure that we are focusing on Solana and just catering to Solana needs of all these different teams. So yeah, that's our game plan, and that's why we chose Solana, and we want to make sure that Solana is the AI agent chain, and that's the vision that I personally have, and that's the vision of SendAI as well.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that, like for Cerebro at least, we're trying to get cross chain. We think it'd be cool if there's just multiple markets we can tap into. But in terms of like comparing the networks, I think Solana definitely has a larger learning curve. It's built in Rust. So it's a little more technically difficult. Like the accounts are a little abstracted, where you have a wallet and also like token accounts, authority accounts. Whereas in EVM, you just have a wallet and it's very simple to use. So I think there's that builder difference, but it's funny because you'd expect like less applications on Solana as a result, or like less activity or things like that. But it's actually the opposite. You see like more volume, a greater community, and actually, personally, I like the community of Solana a bit better in terms of like building up new projects and hype, and connecting with people. Just because I feel like the EVM community is very developer based, and it's very it's kind of like a Fang, like they're kind of like a little institutional now, whereas Solana is still like the startup, like more degen, more willing to try new stuff. They want to just throw money into projects and just see how it goes and kind of thing. So yeah, I think there's those differences. But like if you want like more mature ecosystem and more developer support and things like that, of course EVM's there for you. But if you want like all the action and all the fun and everything, there's Solana. So
it feels like Base has a real kind of AI agent culture brewing over there. There's a lot on Farcaster as well, I'm hearing, with Clanker and all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what the fastest horse ends up being. Okay, I guess I'll end by asking both of you this. Like, what is wrong with AI agents currently? Or what needs to improve in the space over the next 6 months, 1 year from where we are today?
I would say two things are very key. One is autonomy. I think humans are still pretty involved. Like I have to take down Cerebro and put him back up every time I make updates and things like that. We want to get to a point where things are fully autonomous. Hopefully, AIs can iterate on themselves. And I think the second thing is, oh my gosh, I just lost it. Maybe Yash can speak and then I'll come back to it.
Yeah. So on the blockchain side, also, I think like we have to do a lot of things. So not all protocols are currently agent ready. So that's why like even for agent kit, like we want to make sure like it grows and it becomes a default way of any agents to tap into any like blockchain protocols. So I think like all the protocols need to be agent ready and like treat agent as a first class citizen, so that like we have different agentic integrations in all of the protocols. So I think like there's a lot of work to be done on the blockchain infra side, where we are making sure that all the AI agents, like any Web2 developer, AI developer should be able to come to this and like access all the protocols. And that's the thing that we need to we need to ensure, so that like the crypto cross AI keeps growing bigger and bigger. Obviously, like the AI development, AI will keep developing, and there's like huge research labs in US and San Francisco which are working on different AI developments. So I think that part is obviously taken care by like trillions of funding, but we need to ensure that like blockchains are ready for it. And at the end of the day, in blockchains, agents are the first class citizens. And that's how I think like crypto cross AI as a thing will grow bigger and bigger, if we ensure that like the on-chain or the blockchain part of the infra is fully ready in the next 6 months or the 1 year. And that's what like I'm most excited about, making sure that blockchains are ready for the agentic revolution.
Yeah, I agree. Like this is the time where this technology is being crowdsourced. Like this is a whole sector, and it's like the people building it and doing it. But yeah, I think that autonomy is going to be huge. I remember my second point. It was proof of computation. I think that we're going to need ways to, I don't know, make ZK proofs or certain things where we can prove that these LLMs are making the inference, put that on chain. And I also think that there's a huge area where we haven't explored, where AIs can do tasks that humans can't do. I feel like we're just making AIs that replicate human tasks right now. And there's this huge nascent area of like things that we haven't even thought of that AIs can do, that we need to explore. So
I actually was just on a podcast with Mert that's going to air in the future a little bit, but just some alpha is we kind of both predicted what non-meme coin sector we think has the most potential, or what's going to grow the most in 2025. I picked AI agents, not because I don't have doubts, but because I think that sheer force of will is going to just drive a lot of funding, a lot of developer interest in that sector. And Jeffy, like you said, it's kind of a fun, scrappy moment. A lot of like just crowdsourced upstart teams building. So it'll be interesting to see where it all goes. But that is all the time that we have for today. Jeffy, Yash, thank you all so much for coming on the pod, and best of luck judging the AI hackathon. I'm curious to see what the results are.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having me as well.
Absolutely. Take care, guys. We'll see you all on the next one.